Listen, there is growing backlash and excitement for what's shaping up to be a transatlantic fight over Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's sit down with Oprah Winfrey.
It's the snub Meghan Markle never saw coming. After riding the global wave of sympathy from her explosive 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey, Meghan reportedly returned to the media icon with a fresh pitch, a second tell-all sit-down meant to clarify her side of the latest controversies. But instead of the warm embrace she expected, sources say Meghan was met with a polite, yet unmistakably firm no. For a woman used to tightly controlling her narrative, Oprah's refusal wasn't just a minor setback, it was a crushing blow to her media strategy. More than that, it sent a chilling signal. Even some of her most powerful allies might be running out of patience. And it all begins with the first and perhaps most devastating sign of real trouble.
That will be seen right here on CBS. In an apparent siding with the royal family, the British media are suggesting it's insensitive to air such an explosive interview while
Oprah Winfrey is stepping back. Sources close to Harpo Productions reveal that Oprah has been intentionally creating distance between herself and the ongoing Sussex drama. Not out of personal dislike for Meghan, but because, at this stage, the risks far outweigh the rewards. Yes, the 2021 interview was a ratings triumph, pulling in millions of viewers and dominating social media, but it also unleashed a firestorm of backlash and controversy. For Oprah, whose decades-long career rests on hard-earned credibility, every public association comes with a cost, and this one may now be too high to pay.
Outside Buckingham Palace with the very latest.
I wasn't even allowed to have that conversation with you personally, right? There had to be people from the comments sitting there. Everything was...
There were other people.
And in Hollywood, stepping back from a spiraling brand isn't just smart, it's survival. Meghan didn't simply want another sit-down with Oprah, she needed it. According to industry whispers, her pitch for a second interview wasn't about revealing some new, untold story. It was pure damage control, aimed at containing the fallout from the last 2 years. Spotify collapse, the Netflix partnership has turned shaky. Public opinion polls, both in the UK and even parts of the US, are sliding. Meghan reportedly believed that another primetime, headline-grabbing conversation with Oprah could reset her image, shift the narrative, and put her back in control. But when Oprah said no, that entire blueprint didn't just crumble, it disintegrated overnight.
Several attempts to see his grandmother.
Yes, and I think that was such an important story to be shared last night. In the process of trying to edit this 3 hours and 20 minutes down to
This refusal doesn't just close one door, it shakes the entire foundation of the Sussex PR machine. For years, Meghan and Harry's strategy has leaned heavily on a select few high-powered allies who could hand them global platforms on demand. Oprah wasn't just an interviewer, she was an amplifier, a validator, and a shield. Without her, the couple loses a critical line of defense against the wave of negative press closing in. Worse still, her rejection signals that those protective shields may be falling away, one by one. Let's be honest, Meghan used to be the get of the decade. Any outlet that secured an interview with her could bank on record-breaking viewership and weeks of headline dominance. But the air has shifted. A second Oprah special would no longer be viewed as a dazzling exclusive. It would be seen as a repeat.
Question to be answered here at the end of this show will be, why did they leave? And I think the stories about being blindsiding the Queen were very, very damaging to them and also hurtful because they understood very clearly that
it would be seen as nothing more than a rehash, and the fact that Oprah herself is walking away from that opportunity says it all. Meghan's once untouchable media pull is losing gravity, and in Hollywood, when your draw weakens, your leverage crumbles right along with it. Which brings us to the fifth blow. Hollywood's interest in Meghan Markle is drying up faster than she's willing to admit. From canceled deals to stalled projects, the sheen of her celebrity is fading. One entertainment executive speaking off the record put it bluntly, "The novelty is gone. The audience is tired of the same storyline." That's a lethal assessment in an industry built on reinvention, and Oprah's rejection doesn't just confirm it, it broadcasts the sentiment to the rest of Hollywood like a warning flare. Sources close to the Sussex circle describe Meghan's reaction to Oprah's no as nothing short of explosive.
Following many months of conversations and more recent discussions, I am pleased that together we have found constructive and supportive way forward for my grandson and his family. So the Queen on January 18th actually said that there'd been months of conversations.
One insider claims Meghan took the rejection as a personal betrayal, accusing certain former allies of letting negative press sway them instead of standing by her. This wasn't just a professional setback for Meghan, it cut deep. Oprah's refusal wasn't some faceless corporate call, it was a glaring public signal that one of her most powerful friends was no longer willing to stake her own reputation on the Duchess of Sussex. And when someone of Oprah's stature steps back, others inevitably follow. In Hollywood, there's a silent but ruthless domino effect. Agents, publicists, stylists, and even philanthropic boards begin quietly reevaluating their associations. They read the room. If Oprah won't take the gamble, why should they? Already, several of Meghan's planned media opportunities for late 2025 have reportedly begun to
when she sees them, and it seems to come back to something that Meghan pointed out early, that there's the family and then there's the institution. And you were constantly trying to probe the difference between the two. What did you take away from that?
I took away from that there are, as Harry just indicated, there are people
have reportedly been shelved indefinitely, with no clear plans to reschedule. Industry players won't say it outright, but behind closed doors, PR strategy meetings now greet Meghan's name with hesitation instead of excitement. And part of that hesitation goes straight back to her first Oprah interview. That 2021 special wasn't just a TV event, it was a cultural flashpoint, sparking global debates and dominating headlines. But the aftermath was messy. The Sussexes' claims were scrutinized, fact-checked, and in some cases, flat-out disputed. When Meghan refused to publicly address those inconsistencies, the doubts didn't fade, they calcified. A second sit-down wouldn't wipe the slate clean. It would drag those old wounds back into the spotlight, inviting another round of fact checks and public challenges. Oprah knows that could cost her own credibility just as much as Meghan's, which is why her rejection isn't just a closed door.
Hierarchical structure, and those people have a lot of influence and also input.
You get you mentioned last night, Oprah, that you watch The Crown. I do too. You get a sense of that in The Crown, that actually there is almost kind of like a deep state within the monarchy that actually runs the monarchy.
It's a loud, unmistakable warning shot to every other big-name host. Think about the Gayle Kings, the Ellen DeGeneres, the Trevor Noahs, anyone with a heavyweight platform. By stepping back, Oprah is sending a crystal-clear message: this story is now too risky to touch. And in elite media circles, that sentiment spreads like wildfire until it hardens into consensus. The danger for Meghan: she may soon discover that the A-list talk show circuit she once strolled through with ease is quietly closing its doors. This isn't just about one missed interview, it's a snapshot of a brand in slow decline. Meghan's post-royal empire was built on two pillars: the power to control her own narrative and the star power to make the world stop and listen. Now one of those pillars is starting to crack and the other is losing its shine.
I think they agreed to do it, wanted to do it, were ready to do it, because when you have been lied about for a series of years, I think anybody, you can understand this if...
Losing Oprah as her megaphone isn't just a setback. It's the collapse of one of Meghan's most powerful pillars. Without that platform, she risks slipping into the static of Hollywood's endless celebrity churn, where yesterday's headline is tomorrow's afterthought. And in an industry built on who's hot right now, a cooling brand can be the kiss of death. For years, Meghan moved with the confidence of someone certain her image was untouchable. That 2021 Oprah interview made her a global talking point, a name you couldn't escape. But Oprah's refusal marks a chilling reality check. She's no longer too big to fail. And once that aura cracks, every misstep, every awkward PR play, every biting headline lands harder. This shift is subtle, but in Hollywood, it's lethal. When people stop fearing the cost of saying no to you, it means your influence isn't just slipping, it's vanishing.
If in your own office or in your own family, somebody is saying things about you that are not true and how hurtful that is, or if you're online and you read the comments from something that somebody has said about you and you continue to see those comments, how...
While neither side is speaking on record, Hollywood insiders say Meghan envisioned this second Oprah sit-down as her grand comeback, a carefully staged re-entry into the public's good graces, possibly tied to a new project launch. But Oprah reportedly saw what Meghan wouldn't: too many unanswered questions, lingering controversies, and a public mood far less sympathetic than it was in 2021. The split isn't just about friendship, it's about vision. Oprah's empire thrives on uplift, transformation, and stories that leave viewers feeling inspired. Meghan's recent messaging, however, has leaned heavily on defensiveness, grievance, and point scoring. That tone doesn't just clash with Oprah's audience, it risks alienating them. And without Oprah's global stage, Meghan's already shrinking avenues for a high-impact image reset are closing at alarming speed. Major TV networks are already reading the tea leaves, and it's not looking good for Meghan. With audience data showing a steep drop in enthusiasm for sympathetic, big-budget specials about her, the risk now outweighs the reward. That means no more primetime exclusives with glossy editing and friendly questioning. Instead, she'll be left with smaller outlets, less control over the final cut, and interviewers far less inclined to stick to a script. And here's the brutal truth: the moment a celebrity trades down in media exposure, the perception flips. You're no longer a cultural force, you're a former headline act scrambling for scraps. In an industry as transactional as entertainment, Meghan's value was always tied to her ability to draw massive global attention, whether people loved her or hated her. But if that attention no longer equals safe ratings or profitable deals, she's no longer an asset. She's a risk, and in Hollywood, risks get quietly frozen out. Oprah's choice might have had nothing to do with loyalty. It could be pure, calculated brand survival. And in that calculation, Meghan's risk factor now towers over her reward factor. The cruel twist? Meghan once saw Oprah as the ultimate symbol of her media strength, the one person who could help her control every narrative. But now Oprah's public refusal has become a defining moment, one that feeds the very narrative Meghan is desperate to fight. The Sussex brand is losing its shine, its allies, and its cultural pull. If Meghan doesn't make a swift, sharp pivot, she could slide from headline maker to cautionary tale. Her carefully built media empire is cracking before our eyes, and one question burns bright: what happens next? Is this the beginning of the end for the Sussex brand? A dramatic plunge from grace, driven by overreach, missteps, and an unshakable need to control a story that refuses to be controlled? Or will Meghan pull off yet another reinvention, gather fresh allies, and mount a comeback, big enough to grab the spotlight she craves so fiercely? One thing is crystal clear: the Oprah Winfrey snub is no simple missed interview. It's a seismic jolt in the celebrity power game. A moment when even the mightiest must confront the hard truth: there are limits to their reach. It leaves us with a bigger, burning question: how much longer can Meghan Markle keep reshaping her own story before the truth, whatever it may be, bursts through for all to see? For anyone who's been tracking every twist and turn of this royal roller coaster, this is a moment you simply can't look away from. So what's your take? Is Meghan's media star dimming for good, or is she quietly plotting her next dramatic move in the shadows? Share your thoughts, send this video to everyone glued to the Sussex saga, and hit subscribe for more bold, unfiltered updates on the royals and their real-life dramas. Because with Meghan Markle, one thing is certain: the next chapter will be every bit as explosive as the last.